What's going on, guys? Mike, aka Crypto Jewels. I'm going to do a Bitcoin update, guys. This is going to kind of I'm going to start in the macro and then I'm dive into the micro. I hope I don't complicate this too much. From an Elliott wave standpoint, this thing has a few different possibilities that I can see on the chart. So I'm going to narrow them down to the three major ones that I think have the most potential. One of them being a bearish scenario, and the other two being the bullish scenarios. There's a couple other counts that I've got as possible, but to keep this as simple as possible without confusing a whole lot of people, I'm just going to narrow it down to three. So we're going to hop into that. But guys, first and foremost, I'm not a financial advisor. I do this for entertainment and educational purposes only. So do not blindly follow anything I say or do. All right. We're going to get the bear scenario out of the way first. So let's hop into that. So all of these counts, by the way, are assuming that our macro, well, I take that back. The bearish count is assuming that our macro three wave has completed. And we are on our fourth wave, or macro fourth, and then we'll have one more larger fifth degree wave up to finish the entire Bitcoin 5-wave structure, and then have a ABC down for a 2-wave. So basically this would be a 3-wave here. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A wave. And then we are working on our B wave, which is a 3-wave structure. A waves are 5-wave structures, which is what we have here. Here, we'll throw the wave on it so you can see it. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure as a potential A wave, which is right here. And then we have a B wave, which B waves are 3 wave structures, which is broken down into an ABC, which would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your A, and then a B, which is a 3-wave move, and then a 5-wave impulse up for our C wave, which would put in our B. And that zone for the B wave is anywhere from mid 30s, $32,000 up to $38,000 or so. That is where our B wave potentially would top. And then our C wave down would take us likely below 10K, putting in our 4. And then from there, we would have a final 5th wave rally up to complete the entire cycle for Bitcoin. So that is the bearish scenario that I see as a potential scenario. We'll get into the bullish here in just a minute, or 2 bullish counts in just a second. Keep in mind, guys, that on the bear scenario here, this area, this red zone is clearly heavy resistance. At this point, it was used as support once, twice, 3 times before it ended up breaking here and then going below it. And now we have tested it once here. So it's not surprising to me that we are consolidating here in this little range. We have not had any kind of violent rejection yet that I've noticed or that I've seen. So I'm still under the impression that we are going to be moving up regardless. I don't think we're going to have a nasty crash yet. So I still think we're going to move up. But in order for this B wave to be valid, this wave has to move in 3 waves. Already, this is looking, this is an impulsive structure. And if this is a 1 wave of a 1, 2, and then this is our 3, or if this is a 1 wave of this B wave of an A, it doesn't fit, structurally speaking, in order for this to be a B. So really what this thing would have to do, in my opinion, for this to be a B at this point, is have a correction down like that, and then one more leg up to be an ABC. And then it would have to violently reject here into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming down below 10K more than likely. So that's what we would see if this thing is indeed bearish. All right. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to look at the more complicated bullish scenario, and then we'll go into the more simple bullish scenario. I really don't have a primary right now, I guess, between these two. My primary thesis is that we're bullish and that we have put in our macro 3-wave, like we discussed in my last video here, this blue 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 4-wave here. And then we'll have a 5th wave up. And this actually puts in our macro 3. So this is a higher degree 3-wave of what I believe is, a 3-wave here, and then we'll have a 4, 5. I'm not going to get into that. If you guys follow me, you guys should know my macro count, but this is a macro 3-wave in this scenario, whereas in the bullish scenario, this was a macro 3-wave, and then this ABC down would be a 4, and then this would be a 5. But anyways, so that being said, I believe our 4-wave has bottomed here, and we are impulsive in a new bullish trend to finish our 5th wave of our macro 3, is where I believe we are. Now, how this thing is breaking down, it's not giving a whole lot of pullbacks. They're very shallow pullbacks. This is obviously the deepest pullback, which for a 4-wave is relatively deep. So this is the deepest pullback we've got so far in this count, which this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we are potentially on to what I am looking at as maybe an extended 5th wave, being a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in our 3, 4, and then our 5 to put in our 1 wave. That would be our higher degree 1 wave, up around $40,000 or so. And then from there, we would have a correction, down to possibly anywhere from 19,200 to 25 to 28K, really. So 20 to, I would think it would get down to at least the 50% retrace level. So around 25K, 20 to 25K would put in our 2-wave. And then we would have our 3-wave up to about 80K, a 4th wave, and a 5th wave up to potentially 140, 150 grand. So that is my uber bullish scenario, which again is a 1, 2, 1, 2 for our 5-wave, which breaks down like this. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For our 1 wave, a 1, 2, and then we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 1. So this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and this 2 could be in. This could be some sort of WXY, which would be, it's the bottom could be in. It also could retrace down to, potentially 25,700 or so. But our 2 potentially could be in. We'll know if we get a rocket up into our 3, and then 4, 5, and then our larger degree 4, and then our larger degree 5 to put in our first wave of this potential 5-wave up. So that is the uber bullish scenario that I'm tracking. The next scenario that I'm looking at is just a real simple count. This is trying to not make it more complex than it needs to be, but price action does what price action does, and this count is 100% viable at this point. It may sound uber bullish and kind of crazy to think that we possibly could go up to 40K before we even put our first wave in, but it's possible. The chart is telling me it's possible. So it's possible until it's not. That's the way I look at these. So then the other scenario is that we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are on our 5th wave now. Like I said here, this is a bullish impulsive structure. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could label it a few different ways. So this could just be a 5-wave up, and I think we still would push a little bit higher into this resistance zone. possibly 20, 30, 32K, which unfortunately still lines up with my B wave. So, I mean, even if we do get rejected, sorry, I got to delete those. Even if we do get rejected here on this count, up here at the top of this, heavy resistance zone, yeah, that lines up with our B. But, it's still a direct impulse up, which I guess is not completely out of the ordinary and could be a B, but we'll have to see how this wave would correct. So if we end up getting a rejection up here, we want to see this rejection move in a 3-wave structure, which would be a 5-wave impulse down, a 3-wave up, and then another 5 down, which could take us into the lower 20s range before we put in a 2. So then that would be a 1, 2, and then you would have a 3, 4, 5 up to the same range that I'm targeting for the other bullish scenario. In this scenario, this would basically indicate that we would have an extension in our 3-wave or our 5-wave, which isn't necessarily out of the ordinary. That's common. So, either of those two scenarios are still possible. Quite frankly, I'm hoping what we see is just a violent explosion and a violent push up to this zone here, so we don't have to, worry about this thing having one more leg up, and then this being the C of the B, as we saw here. Because then we'll have to contend with, okay, how does this wave down look? Is it impulsive? Is it corrective? What are we going to do at that point? So what we can, obviously, I'll do updates as we get there. But to recap one more time, I hope I did not make this too confusing, but we've got 3 scenarios. One is the bearish scenario here, which would be a rejection up in this zone, which a typical zigzag, if that's what this is, would retrace up to 618.5 to 618, so anywhere from 32 to 39,000. That is the zone where it would retrace. And I find it difficult to believe that this is the count. This is a possible scenario, but it is absolutely not my primary. Even if we start to reject from here, I'm still going to lean bullish until proven otherwise. Just because if we break above this resistance level here, I mean, there's a lot of sell pressure here, and this is a huge zone to flip. And I mean, my counts either way have us, breaking above that zone and then really coming back down and retesting it, or possibly being rejected at the very top end of it and then coming down. But ultimately, I believe my primary is one of these 2 counts, which is this one or this 1, 2, 1, 2 in the final 5th wave. But I would prefer to see this, because if we saw this type of action, then I think we could pretty much eliminate the ABC up for a possible B wave and then a final nasty C wave down. So hopefully that wasn't too complicated for you guys. I will keep these things updated as we go. And as always, follow my Twitter, and I'll do real-time tweets on things going on if there's anything interesting that happens. See y'all later.